Hey everybody, it's me again. I am working really hard in the studio on a body of work that I started probably, it's got to be maybe 3 years ago, just before COVID actually. And as a father of two teens, I sat often at activities and I drew. I was the one parent with their head stuck in a sketchbook. I was like drawing, and I came up with these small little drawings. I used something called Rocketbook at that time, and then I would take a picture with my phone, and that would upload a JPEG or a PDF to the my sketchbook on my Google Drive. And so I captured all these little drawings. And the little drawings are these little, they're almost comic things. They feel a little bit like graffiti as well. They remind me a bit of my time years and years ago when I was a billboard painter. But I took those little designs and I printed them out. I don't know if you can see this, but I printed them out on transparency. And I just like the hand drawn look. I could have printed them out at scale on a large piece of paper or something, but I really want to draw these things again. They were fun to doodle, and they were explorations, really, I think, in shapes and layers, and being present. I guess I wasn't being present watching my kids do their taekwondo, I guess, but I was present in my sketchbook. So anyway, sorry kids, but. Anyway, so now I'm going to transfer these. I really don't know what they mean yet. They're interesting drawings to me, and I think that that's enough. But what I'm going to do is transfer them onto some pieces of watercolor paper. And I've got 140 pound 18 by 24 inch watercolor paper. And you can see over here, I am projecting them onto, you can see I've got a projector going here, and I'm using these. And this is an example of one of these little abstract drawings. Lots of kind of bubble shapes, lots of linear lines, or sort of linear shapes. And they're kind of surreal. I'm still not sure what they mean yet. So I'm doing this so I can discover like why I really enjoy making shapes like this. And so we're going to try them large. So these started out on a 9 by 12 sketchbook, like I mentioned before, using Rocketbook. And then I don't know, we'll see what they look like at 18 by 24. So here I am drawing this first one out on 18 by 24 watercolor paper. And as you can see, the lines don't always line up. There's a little bit of flex because of the paper. And then also, let me turn the camera over here. On the overhead projector, there is, as this little plastic thing heats up from the light, it kind of expands. And so I've got it taped down to kind of hold that in place a little bit. But if this takes me more than an hour or so to draw out, I'm going to need to probably reposition this a little bit. So again, that's how I'm doing that. The pen I'm using a, this is a Molotow Blackliner. It's one of my favorite black pens. It's you can see here, it's water-based. It's indelible, which means that it's permanent, and it actually will bleed through layers of paint, which is kind of nice. But it's super fine, as you can see. And I'm just going to finish drawing this thing out and see what one looks like. I think I have 30 drawings in my sketchbook that I'm going to be exploring, and you can see they're layered shapes. Everyone has its own kind of feel and tensions in it and all of that. This one, I don't know, it's like the attack of the cauliflower. Well, anyway, I'm enjoying doing it. I hope you're enjoying watching. All right, well, there it is, drawn out on a 18 by 24 piece of watercolor paper. Now, I did this because I'm not quite sure what these drawings mean. So I'm going to explore them. I think I'm going to make them large like this and mess around with them for a while. Now I'm using 140-pound watercolor paper, which is a little bit lighter than I typically do. And it's just because I had a huge stack of it, and I know I've got, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe 24 of these drawings that I'm going to explore in this way. And so a little bit about my process. Usually I start with something in my sketchbook and then just simply experiment, you know. So these have been on my mind for several months, and now we're going to see what happens with them. So I'm so excited about starting these. I'm going to draw out the rest of them. So we have several drawings that I'm going to be making today, and we'll see how they all turn out. After I get them in this stage, so this larger format, then I'll live with them for a while. I'll probably tack them up around the studio here, and then kind of decide what the next steps are. I kind of take everything one step at a time. I knew that these are resonating with me from my sketchbook from a few years ago, and I've wanted to try them in different formats, so here I am. So once they get to this larger format drawn out in this way, then I'm going to live with them for a little bit. Now, I work in multiples, so working on 20 of these at once is not really a big deal. They'll sit somewhere in the studio. I have lots of different projects going at the same time so that I can let things sit and I can live with them for a little while before I decide how to move on to the next stages. So watch for more. Thanks.